Sponsored by Big K Cherry Cola Zero.
Holy knockoff.
Because I'm a poor.
You said it was conch.
What are you drinking? My brother in Christ, you live in Atlanta. Like, drink the actual product.
Still $8 a 12-pack. This is $3.
I do not give a shit. That is essentially paying taxes to the city of Atlanta is buying conch. Like, just
they
drink
can
the conch.
stuck me.
Cause we way too high for you. Tripping like we got too much on. But they got love for us. Cause we staying all night long. Yo, when we walk in the club, you better believe we know what's up. Got these girls all in a trance, throwing rhythm in the dance.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another rendition of the Bros and the Berg podcast. My name is Ryan Doyle, and I'm joined by my more handsome co-host, Robbie Bergstone. And then joined by, my less handsome, less impressive spawn of a brother, Connor Doyle, who does all the executive producing, content creation, and just general jackassery on this show. We're here to discuss all things sports, all other random bullshit going on in our lives, and other topics that you want to hear from us. We thank you for joining on wherever you get your podcasts, watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify and Google Podcasts. But gentlemen, what's first on the docket for this evening? What do we got to discuss?
Anyone have any interesting going on in their lives, or just want to dive right into sports?
I get off a third shift in a month. Big looking forward to that. We can definitely help produce more content.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We might actually be able to get on a normal recording schedule.
Yeah, when we're all sleeping at the same time instead of me having to get up early and all
Crazy.
this bullshit. Yeah, that'd be wild.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Robbie, you moved into a new apartment and you seem to have some misgivings about this new place.
I don't want to talk about it anymore because if I say the word one more time today, I'm gonna lose my shit. But yeah,
He called me today. It was just irate. It was hysterical.
This morning was bad. I was pissed. Yeah, moved into the new apartment. Space is great. The room I'm in now is like double the size of my old one, like legitimately. So big old recording studio now. Maybe I'll get some aerobics in the middle of the podcast tonight.
Vlog tour
For the Patreon.
Yeah, for the for our OnlyFans.
Oh yeah.
Right next to my toes is just Robbie's apartment.
I just happen to be in boxers and you just happen to see my mirror in the background. That's the OnlyFans. Anyways, yes, moved into a new apartment. Outside of a few unwelcome friends, it's great. The space will be great, so that is exciting.
You know what y'all need for that is a cat. Bring Cassie over there.
For our,
I'm not allowed to go see Cassie right now. I'm banned.
That's funny.
I'm in quarantine.
So yeah, moving into why you're all here, the world of sports. We're going to move into the NBA. Probably the most prominent thing that's happening at the moment, the NBA Finals. The series is tied, gentlemen. It is 1-1. The Denver Nuggets took game 1, and then the Miami Heat got a win in Denver, which is a massive win. That's ginormous. So let's talk about this game a little bit. Obviously, Nikola Jokić having to score the ball with a near 50-point performance because a lot of his teammates were struggling. Jamal Murray wasn't really hitting. MPJ wasn't doing what he usually does, and so obviously Nikola Jokić having to step it up and sort of a score role with 41 points. But on the other side of the ball, Jimmy Butler had a pretty decent game. Bam Adebayo had a good shooting game. Gabe Vincent, all those guys over 20 points. And another interesting foil in terms of the Miami Heat starting lineup. Kevin Love was back in the starting lineup, and it actually seemed to pay dividends for them. He played 22 minutes, so he didn't play as many as the six-man Kyle Lowry. But he's back in the starting lineup. What are you guys' thoughts about this game?
Watching the game last night, I tuned in for the second half, and Jokić was just dominating the third quarter. They literally it was like OG Randy Moss, where is fuck it, he down there somewhere. That was the Nuggets offense.
Yeah.
It's fuck it, give the ball to Jokić somewhere, and that was the entire offense, but it was working.
Yeah,
I feel like that's been the Nuggets' plan for whenever they go cold.
Sure.
Whenever any of their other dudes go cold, you just throw to the big Serb in the fucking paint. That's just
yeah.
Well, keep in mind they also only lost by 3 points. Like, even with everybody else performing not very well, I mean, even though it is at home, but the Nuggets still only lost by 3 points, even with poor performances outside of Nikola Jokić.
I do find it interesting when you look at the minutes played for the Nuggets. They only had 8 guys get minutes.
Yep.
Their starters, Aaron Gordon played 38, Porter played 26, Jokić was 42, Murray was 39, and Caldwell Pope was 36. I mean, their starters are playing vast majority of the game. The Heat had 10 people play, so they're definitely getting a little bit more into that rotation. Do we get a Haslam at any point in this series if Miami goes up big?
Yeah. He'll come in the game. 100%.
I think they'll get him in at some point. But and the Heat, backups really showed up last night too in the fourth quarter. I mean, the Nuggets weren't playing bad. The Heat just went nuclear and were hitting everything. Like, the defense was solid. There was a lot of and ones, a lot of contested threes. But they started off the quarter like 6 for 6.
Yep.
They went into the quarter down 8, and all of a sudden they were up. So just a clutch performance from that whole group.
Well, I mean, it almost seems like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and Caleb Martin are like taking turns in which one of them wants to catch heat in one game. I mean, those are all kind of guards that were kind of no names before this year. I mean, you saw Gabe Vincent play a little bit, but Strus and especially Martin weren't getting many minutes, and this year they've really come alive.
I only know Caleb Martin because he's from the next county over in North Carolina. Shout out Davie County.
There you go.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's just how teams win championships.
Yeah.
Your role guys really take on a bigger role when it comes to the playoffs and are giving the stars some supporting effort. I mean, that's just how it goes.
I really thought Murray was going to hit that last 3 though. He got a pretty good look, and I could not believe the Heat didn't foul. You're up 3 with he crossed half court with like 7 seconds left. I couldn't believe they didn't foul. And he got a pretty decent look. I mean, I guess it worked out, but he got a good look. Yeah, that's fair.
When he hit that 3 to put the Nuggets down by 3, I think it was that. I think like a minute left in the fourth or something.
He hit one to send them down 3, and then they scored 2 points, and someone else scored 2 points to get it back within 3, something like that. He hit one to get them within 3, and then the Heat went back up by 5 again. I think.
If you listen to the call when he puts them down 3, it's identical to the Ray Allen shot in the finals.
That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's
like
Mike Breen? It was a miss by Jokić, rebound, back out to Murray, bang, or something like that. And then the crowd goes fucking nuts. It was identical, just a little less like excited, but it's the exact same call.
Didn't save LeBron's legacy.
Bum.
But another interesting point to this also, he's been seen in warmups and he has been cleared for basketball activities. I still am not 100% sure if he's cleared for full contact, but Tyler Hero is nearing being healthy. Do you think that Coach Spo takes the risk and puts Tyler, if he's cleared, do you think Coach Spo plays Tyler Hero in this series?
Before the series started, they said he was going to come back in game 3. 10 dudes played for the Heat. I can't imagine he's not going to get some minutes as like this borderline starter 6-man for the Heat all year. Like, if he can play, he'll go. I trust Spoelstra, like probably the best coach with Pop in the league right now.
I think it's an underrated moment. Tyler Hero breaking his hand and then getting the ball whipped to him the next play and then draining a 3 on his shooting hand.
Splashed that.
He drained that thing.
So I do have a question for you guys from this series, going back to the Nuggets. If the Nuggets go on to win the series, and Jokić wins Finals MVP, I mean, he might already be, but does that make Jokić the best player in the world right now?
Bo said it in his post-game interview.
I mean, he might already be there.
I already said that. Yeah, no, he should have won the MVP again.
You think he is?
He should have. I mean, he should have won the MVP.
I agree with you. You'll still hear people say Giannis is a better basketball player, or LeBron is still playing, so you can't, whatever. But
here's a question: with this ring, if he wins this ring, is Nikola Jokić the best Nuggets player in franchise history?
Yes.
Is he already the best?
Yes.
You think he's already the best Nuggets
player? I mean,
it's not Melo.
David Thompson, who was Clay's dad, and then Manute Bol.
It's not close.
No, I think it's Jokić too. No, I'm thinking of the guys that like you compare him to. The Nuggets legends. But yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of them, unfortunately.
J.R. Smith? Yeah.
Yes, so, dude, some of those highlights are disgusting. The free throw line, dude. I was watching J.R. Smith highlights the other day, and I was like talking to my friends, and I was like, yeah, I was watching J.R. Smith highlights, and one of them was like, why were you watching J.R. Smith highlights? I was like, what do you mean why? You know, like what?
You guys want to hear this just random list on the internet I found of top 5 Nuggets players of all time?
Bat Lever.
Number 5 is Bobby Jones.
Yeah.
Number 4 is David Thompson.
Yep.
Number 3 is Dan Issel.
Okay.
Number 2 is Alex English.
Golly.
And number 1 is Nikola Jokić.
Those are some names on a top 5 list for a franchise.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be.
I feel like it's a little disrespectful of Melo. I mean, I guess he didn't play his whole career there, but like, in terms of overall career, I feel like Melo would be in the top 5 in Nuggets history.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible take. So yeah, this obviously, like I said, this is a huge win for Miami, being able to get one in Denver. I mean, what do you think that means in terms of the series? Like, do you still think Denver's going to take it? And how many games now do you think they're going to take it? What do you guys think?
So before the series started, I said Denver in 6. I thought Denver would get the first 2 at home. Miami would get Hero back in game 3, win game 3. And then because the format's different, it's 2-3-2. I thought Miami would also win game 5. To go back to Denver down 3-2, and Denver would seal it up in 6. Miami grabbing one makes it a little interesting. Denver still wins the series, but it's really like teetering on 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
I still think it's a long series.
I still think, I mean, the Heat's entire supporting cast had to show up to beat the Nuggets. I mean, everyone had to play well, and
everybody except for Jokić on the Nuggets kind of didn't play well too. So it's like perfect storm.
I mean, Butler again had only 21 points. He didn't shoot well from the field.
True.
I feel like, Butler had a down game, but also Murray had a down game. So it's like, both the star guards really didn't play up to their best. So it'll be interesting, man.
I will never get over how many weird rolls Jokić gets. Like when he shoots it, like the amount of times he shoots a ball and it rolls around on the rim for a couple of seconds and somehow goes in. Like I know that's
he's got the English, man.
Yeah, I know that's
got the
game,
Serbian.
but it just never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah.
They also put the Serbian broadcast on briefly last night, and those guys would rather be anywhere else. Like that, it was the most low energy performance I've ever heard in my life. Like I mean, not that I understand a word of Serbian, but they're just talking like this in Serbian. Jokić scores.
It's like chess.
So it's the exact opposite of the Spanish football.
Yeah, they go crazy.
Exactly.
Messi.
Messi. That was good, Connor.
Just saying his name constantly. So yeah, in terms of the NBA Finals, that's what we got for you. Obviously, we'll keep you updated as that goes along. Moving on to some NBA news, specifically in some coaching news. Former Houston Rockets coach Steven Silas is set to join Monty Williams as the assistant head coach in Detroit. And if you hadn't heard, Monty Williams, who was recently fired by the Phoenix Suns, has been picked up as the Detroit Pistons' new head coach. I think these are 2 fantastic hirings for Detroit. I mean, Steven Silas obviously didn't do well with the Rockets, but who the hell would? Thrust into that situation for the last 3 seasons. There's nobody that could do anything. So legitimate 2 head coach candidates, and have both of them on your coaching staff, especially one like Monty Williams. That's fantastic, I think, for Detroit.
And Monty did a great job like the young Suns team. He just hasn't done a great job.
Exactly.
They've matured and picked up players to be a championship contender. I think he'll get the locker room in shape and get them to play well. And I think it's a good pickup.
I think it's really like an investment in the young guys. See if Katie can take that next step. Obviously, his job with the Suns was
win a championship.
Right. So it's just
the
Suns. What are you gonna do with the Suns?
Well, that's one of our TikToks. Don't you
throw him in at the Sun?
Oh yeah. So in other, also speaking about the Suns and another coaching news, Frank Vogel has become the new Suns head coach, and David Fizdale is the assistant coach. So that's another big assistant coach hiring, another former head coach.
The NBA recycles coaches like no one else. It's like, okay, we're gonna fire everyone, and then they'll have a job again in 2 years. Like the Van Gundy's, had jobs for way too long. Both of them.
I hate Jeff Van Gundy so much. His commentary makes me want to put my head through a wall. I like Stan. Stan is fine because Stan is a color guy that makes insightful commentary like a color guy is supposed to do. Jeff makes the game about himself. It is infuriating. I hate Jeff Van Gundy. Oh, what a piece of ass.
That should be a Instagram reel, and then you just tag him.
Hey.
Hey, that ass.
Yo, what up, Jeff? Yeah.
Jeff, we don't like you as a person. It's very personal.
These engagements go crazy, man.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, Vogel, I don't know if I'm sold on the Vogel hiring for the Suns head coach. I love the Fizdale hiring as the assistant. Do you guys, in terms of Frank Vogel, what do you guys think for the Suns?
He did win a championship 3 years ago.
It's just true. It's just true. I don't know. I'll be interested.
I think like we said, it was time to move on from Monty. I think it's probably one of your top couple guys available.
Yeah.
You just see how it meshes. I don't know.
And I do think a team like the Suns, where you're in win now mode, you're not hiring some up and coming coach to see if they have what it takes to be a head coach, right? Like you want to get someone that is stable and might not bring anything new or flashy, but like can maybe get you to the finish line.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you there. In terms of a few other NBA headlines, this is just a quick one. Julius Randle has had successful ankle surgery after the playoffs. He needed to undergo ankle surgery. So well wishes to him, and hopefully has a speedy recovery. One of the young.
Did he have successful basket making surgery? Because that man couldn't hit fucking shit in the playoffs. Anyways,
that's tough.
Damn.
That's tough.
And
shout out Knicks fans.
And then last thing of the day, something that came out today in terms of the NBA, something that came out today that is just kind of crazy, especially to Ryan and I as a Mavericks fan. Apparently, Kyrie Irving is attempting to recruit LeBron James to join the Dallas Mavericks.
This was tweeted by Shams. So
this is a real story.
This is one of those headlines. So it's like, yeah, no shit. It's like, yes, the guy that used to play with one of the two best players of all time wants him to join his team. Like that's fucking shocking. Like no way. It's one of those things. Like, yeah, of course he's attempting. I mean, LeBron is going to be in a Mavericks uniform next year. No, please clip this. If it does happen and call me out. But like, it's one of those headlines. Like, it would be cool. But is it gonna happen? Probably not.
Dude, the Mavs are known for not being able to get free agents. Like Kyrie is the biggest free agent signing, or I guess
it was a trade.
Like the biggest. I know. As soon as I said that, I realized. But like, I can't even name you the last big free agent that came to the Mavs. It was supposed to be DeAndre Jordan until he bitched out.
Yeah.
That's the classic Mark Cuban copy pasta of driving through Dallas begging family members for DeAndre Jordan's phone number.
Rajon Rondo is not a joke though. That at the time he was supposed to that was the biggest guy that we got, and then it was obviously awful. And Carlisle hated each other.
LeBron's not leaving LA. Bronny just committed to USC too.
Yeah.
Correct.
He's not leaving LA.
Yep.
That is correct.
So yeah, obviously
Anthony Davis just huh?
Bron, you're gonna leave me with these bums?
Yo, AD, come too. We need a big
on God.
Straight up trade LeBron for Luka.
No. What?
No.
Hell no.
No.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Can we get Kevin Love somehow too, so we can just reunite the 2016 Cavs and just
LeBron and AD for Luka? Thoughts?
When Kyrie stays?
Yes.
That'd be kind of nasty, actually.
Oh,
that'd be kind of nasty.
Probably not. I probably still wouldn't do it.
Damn.
Really?
I didn't cast my opinion. I was just curious on yours.
I don't know. I don't know. Would you do it, Rob?
Give me Iguodala.
LeBron and AD for Luka? I probably would.
Yeah, it's probably.
I know they're both older, but if you want to win a championship and you can get LeBron and AD to pair up with Kyrie Irving,
that's hard. I don't know. Maybe. So that is it in terms of the NBA. We're going to move on to the other championship that's happening right now, the Stanley Cup. We're going to swing that over to Robbie. Robbie, talk about the Stanley Cup for us real quick.
So we have to start out with talking about both of our teams bowed out with a whimper in the Eastern Conference or Eastern and Western Conference Finals. The Dallas Stars lost to the Las Vegas Golden Knights 4-1, and then the Eastern Conference Finals happened. We don't need to elaborate on that anymore.
That was exactly what happened. That was what happened.
And the Florida Panthers did win that series.
Game 4 for the Stars was super exciting, and everyone was like, "Oh man, first 3-0 comeback ever in NHL history," and then we get whacked 6-0.
Would not be the first 3-0 comeback in NHL history.
No, first conference finals.
First conference finals.
There you go.
He saved it.
But in the Stanley Cup Finals, the Las Vegas Golden Knights won a thriller a couple of nights ago in Game 1. It was a really good game, back and forth. Matthew Tkachuk played like shit, which made me very happy. He also got ejected because he's a bitch.
Tkachuk was your literal father in that series. I mean, it was.
But that game ended up 5-2. It was closer than that. The Knights scored 2 goals in the third, and then scored an open net goal at the very end. So that was a really good game, back and forth. Tonight, as of recording this podcast at 10:52 Eastern Standard Time on Monday, June 5th, the Las Vegas Golden Knights are up 6-2 on the Florida Panthers with 3 minutes remaining in the third period. So it does look like the Golden Knights will go up 2-0, headed back to Miami for the Florida Panthers to play their home games.
And over-bettors are bricked up to start the Stanley Cup Finals.
I bet the over tonight was 7.5.
Seems like a lot.
The Florida Panthers have kind of been like that team of destiny that's just like kind of somehow gotten through the playoffs. They're the 8th seed in the East.
Line was 5.5.
Ooh,
oh, there you go. I was
missed
wrong. It. But I mean, the Knights are the better team. They're winning their 2 home games. They're holding serve, so we'll see if they can go back to Florida and get one or get a couple. But it does seem like the Panthers' magic is starting to run out because Brovsky's now given up 11 goals in 2 games versus the way he was playing all the way through the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that insight and overview, Rob. So remember you were talking about Chuck or whatever. So I feel like every time that we call somebody out, we have to clip it and then post it and then tag them so they can they can personally respond. Like me with Jeff Van Gundy with it. Yeah.
Because they care about our podcast.
Yeah.
On it.
So
I want us to get beef with I want just one person to respond.
I don't want beef with anybody.
I want one star to respond, and then the rest of our podcast, our entire personality is going to be having beef with that one professional athlete.
Well, if
it's Matthew Tkachuk, then we're just going to have beef with Matthew Tkachuk for the rest of our lives. We're just locked into that.
If there's one Aaron Rodgers hater,
it's me.
This guy right here.
Obviously moving on from the Stanley Cup and the NHL, we're going to go to the MLB. We're going to swing it over to Ryan for the MLB standings.
Rangers walked it off tonight, bottom of the 9 in Arlington. Fuck the Cardinals. Let's go Rangers. Up 39-20 on the season, leading the AL West. Astros can hold these nuts.
Nope.
But besides from that, A's are sitting at 12-50.
Good Lord.
Which you would think would be on pace for the worst season in baseball. It's not. It's really not. The worst season in baseball, not a whole 162 game season. This was a 154 game season back in the year of our Lord, 1899.
Is it the Cleveland Spiders by any chance?
That is correct. $5 to Robbie. They went 20-134.
Good Lord.
Currently, the A's are 12-50, so they're a
little behind.
Way better.
The A's were on pace to beat that until they took 2 or 3 from the Braves last week.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
They took 2 or 3 from the Braves in Oakland.
I don't know if it was last night or 2 nights ago, but Ozuna hit a 415-foot single off the one of the decks or whatever, and just pimped it like he was a home run, and then it clanged off the wall. He just stood on first. All the Braves announcers were so fucking done with him.
He's such a piece of shit too, just in general as a person.
No, he's an awful person. Like all Atlanta fans hate Ozuna. They just want him gone. It's crazy. But continuing on with the rest of the standings, the AL East, everyone is still over 500, which is kind of disgusting. The Red Sox are down at 30-30 at the bottom of that, with the Rays still with a league best 43-19, 26-6 at home. They're unbeatable at home. It's pretty crazy. Twins are leading the Central Division. 31-29. Definitely the weakest division in the AL. So no wildcard teams probably coming out of there. You got the Braves still holding on to a relatively slim lead over in the NL East, with the Marlins in second place at 33-28. Definitely having a pretty good season for them. The Mets at 30-30, I know, makes Robbie happy. You got the NL Central Division. Pirates still holding on to a really slim half-game lead, 32-27. Then you got Brewers, Reds, Cubs, Cardinals all jumbled in within a couple games of each other. And out west in the NL, you have the Diamondbacks tied with the Dodgers It's kind of disappointing for the Dodgers that they're tied with a team that spends like 25% of their salary at 35 and 25. So that's
you got to mention
right now.
Might be more disappointing than the Dodgers further down those standings.
For the Phillies,
the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. Yeah, sorry. Yes, that's pretty rough.
I did see out there for any of our gambling friends. So Ryan mentioned that the Pirates are leading their division currently. There's still 125-1 odds to win the World Series.
What'd I say about the Pirates?
The Brewers are a half game back. I told you the Brewers are going to win.
What did I say about the Pirates?
They're still in it.
And the Pirates have won 6 straight. So the Brewers were leading the division. The Pirates had just come on relatively hot recently. So
yeah,
it's going to be a good long season of baseball. Of the 162 games, we're 60 in. So we still got a lot of baseball left to go.
Almost to the finish line.
It's only June, so there's a few more games to play.
Awesome.
So that's what we got.
Thank you for doing that, Ryan. And so for our viewers and our listeners at home, obviously when the summer rolls around and the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup ends, obviously there's a lot less sports news to talk about. We can talk about the outlooks and projections and perspective stuff, but basically we're gonna have less to talk about over the summer. So our plan is to try to implement some news segments, try to come up with some new stuff, and we'd love some suggestions for you guys in the comments or DMs, whatever it may be. We're posting a lot more to all the socials and stuff, so hopefully we're getting higher engagement rates and more followers, that kind of stuff. But to start us off, Ryan has a little a news segment for it. It's not a completely new segment, but he's going to do something for us today that's a little different than we usually do.
I do have a suggestion too. I think we should start streaming more, play some video games, that type of thing. We don't have anything else to talk about, so
I can't live stream Overwatch.
We won't play Overwatch.
It's not good for my mental health.
But Ryan, you had something related to food for one of the segments today. Would you like to bring that up?
Yeah, I saw an interesting debate on some of the socials earlier in this week, and they were talking about what 2 states, neighbor states, so think, Oklahoma and Kansas. I don't know why I picked those 2. But what 2 neighbor states have the best complementing and just overall cuisine in the United States? About that.
So I have an answer.
I have an answer for best overall cuisine.
Yeah.
I don't know about complementing.
Yeah,
so you can ignore complimenting. You could just say the best, the 2 best neighbor states cuisines that you.
Should we all give our answer? I have a feeling we're all gonna have a pretty similar answer here. I think we should say it at the same time, though.
Well, that's gonna be hard with internet.
No,
yeah, exactly. The audio is gonna be horrible.
Ready? We ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Texas and Louisiana.
There it is.
Well, obviously kind of
that felt like an obvious answer.
Yeah, obviously homer picks for Ryan and I, but also you have New Orleans and Louisiana, and obviously Texas, and being adjacent to Mexico, it tends to have a lot of Mexican influence in terms of the food and stuff. So I feel like it's a pretty easy answer.
I'm trying to even think of other answers.
That's what I was thinking. Stuff in the northeast.
Saw New York and Massachusetts.
That's literally what I was
saying. New York doesn't really have it's I guess pizza. Where he's giving New York. I mean, what's New York's own cuisine? Just pizza and.
I think people are really mostly thinking of the city. They're not really New York State doesn't have a lot of cuisine that I could actually name.
Duff's
pizza. I mean, they do have buffalo wings too. That's true.
Big facts, Connor.
Well, in terms of Tennessee, I'm trying to think of bordering states for Tennessee
and North Carolina.
Moonshine. that's Tennessee cuisine. Well, that's just the app cuisine.
Yeah.
But yeah. So is that any more, Ryan, or is that the question for the day?
That was it. It wasn't very exciting.
No, that's fine.
I just saw
I just say if we're talking about just barbecue, 2 neighboring states with the best barbecue, Tennessee with Memphis ribs, and then the state that's closest to it that would have the next best barbecue be North Carolina. So Texas is kind of surrounded by barbecue states, so kind of get left in the cold on that. Yeah,
Oklahoma's barbecue.
Maybe Tennessee and Missouri.
I still might take Texas and Arkansas over Tennessee and North Carolina.
You're wrong.
I think that's a little disrespectful. I'm not gonna. I think that's a little disrespectful.
Wrong. Don't care. Vinegar-based opinions don't matter.
We have mustard-based too.
Yeah.
Imagine not having 2 types of barbecue in one state.
Imagine not needing the sauce.
Oh.
You have sauce. What do you mean?
But we don't need it. Y'all just
But
put that
it's incredible
vinegar-based shit over all. Imagine messing up pulled pork with a sauce.
Oh,
Cringe.
What?
Cringe.
It's delicious, and you're wrong. The sauce is part of the barbecue. Your barbecue sauce also has to be good. Otherwise, you're just making meat. It's not barbecue. It's different.
Spread it on that meat, baby.
moving on to the next thing. Another MLB headlines, the last one. But this one's actually kind of interesting. Albert Pujols has been hired on as the special assistant to the MLB commissioner, from the commissioner himself hiring Albert Pujols. I think that's an interesting development. Apparently, it's to somewhat helps like the relations with Pujols, not help the relations with Pujols' home country, but essentially do more out there. But also, he's just kind of like an ambassador, I suppose. But just the wording of special assistant is kind of interesting to me.
Special assistant. I don't know what that job title
I do not either.
really brings to the table.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if we get any more information about his duties or anything like that. But I thought that was interesting.
Pujols is going to tell him to juice the balls again.
Moving on to a few NFL headlines regarding the Buffalo Bills. The Bills have broken ground on a new $1.54 billion stadium. The new stadium will officially also be called Highmark Stadium, as announced by Terry Pegula, thanks to a new naming rights agreement with Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield of Western New York to extend the partnership with the Bills. So yeah, Buffalo. And I remember in the article them saying that they hadn't even really considered moving out, because obviously Buffalo is a little bit of a smaller market, especially as it relates to New York. And apparently they had never considered moving out. The NFL always wanted them to stay in Buffalo. They basically made a brand of the Bills in Buffalo at this point.
Yeah,
so.
100%. You can't move that team.
No.
Maybe not quite on the same level, but Green Bay is not exactly a big market either. But you're never going to move the Packers.
Yeah.
Nope.
And speaking of the Bills, their defensive tackle Ed Oliver has agreed to a 4-year, $68 million contract.
That's a big signing for them. He's good.
Do you remember, because Ed Oliver went number 1 overall, or no, not quite. He went high.
Very high.
I remember, at first he was almost considered a bust. He kind of came out the gate kind of slow and didn't play super well, but he's kind of found his role.
We're gonna move on to the next headline. Something that is also very recent. Something that surfaced yesterday. The NFL was investigating a unknown, unnamed Colts player for possible betting on NFL games and their own games. That name has since surfaced, being the cornerback Isaiah Rodgers, in quote unquote hundreds of wagers. So apparently he bet on numerous NFL games, including Colts games. So obviously the NFL is a big no-no.
You didn't have in there who it was going to be, so I had the list pulled up, and I was going to list off all of the former Alabama players on the Colts roster, because apparently our players can keep themselves out of trouble gambling, so it's going to have us guess on which Alabama
I was going to do that too.
Gambling on games.
I was so sad when they announced it. I was like, I wanted to guess it on the podcast.
In case you're curious, Ryan, you'll appreciate the Colts players that Alabama players the Colts have. You ready for this? I'm gonna save the best one for last.
Cool.
They have Ryan Kelly.
Okay.
They have Emil Ikior, and then they have Tony Brown. Crazy Tony. My guess would have been Crazy Tony for sure.
That dude needs to be locked up. Yeah, Goodell better throw the fucking book at him if Calvin Ridley got a year-long suspension.
Yeah.
For one. And then Jameson.
It is so disingenuous by the NFL to do this type of shit. They take so much money from FanDuel and DraftKings, and
I get it though, because if you don't let the players gamble, then they can't rig games.
I understand that, but
that's why I think I get it, but that's why you have to have no tolerance policy, because if you give them leeway, next thing you know, you're letting them gamble and you can't track what they're gambling on, and then the competitiveness of the game is thrown off. And those sports books don't like that. That's when the sports books start fighting back on you, is when you start messing with their money.
Well, and I will say there's precedent for it. The NFL has always been incredibly strict on no, you can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. So it's as much as we want to crap on the league, that is something that they've always done. It's you're not allowed to gamble no matter what on the games.
Yep.
Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
So Robbie, I'm gonna swing it to you, because obviously you added this, because I accidentally forgot to add it. But the college baseball tournament happening right now. Go ahead.
Woo! Yeah, Connor, I want to get your thoughts on what happened in Stillwater last week, or I guess this past week.
Who?
There was a game played.
What game? There was Kansas State 48-0 is weird. That was months ago.
It's not that one, but it's not that one.
That's the one you want to talk about. That harbors better feelings. Than
The big you guys won the Big 12, right? The Big 12 champion Oklahoma State Sooners losing in their regional 18-4.
Oklahoma State Sooners.
Sorry. Oof.
That was terrible. What the hell was that?
You guys later. All right, deuces.
Wow.
Oklahoma State.
It's because of your next. It's because of your next headline is running together with it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm gonna blame it on. The Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Yeah. There you go.
Go Pokes.
Losing 18-4 to get knocked out of the regional. It's tough.
It's not
You
good.
can't host
Rob.
a regional and then get knocked out.
That was so bad.
That's bad.
But as for the rest of the super regionals that have been set, we have the number 1 overall seed Wake Forest Demon Deacons hosting the number 16 seed Alabama Crimson Tide.
Get the brooms out. We're gonna sweep them.
Alabama got so damn lucky that the Troy shortstop shit himself in the 9th inning the other night. We were down a run. He had the game-winning out, and he chucked it over the first baseman's head, and we scored 2 runs. It was so bad.
I'd rather be lucky than good.
True. But Wake Forest, I sent you the stat earlier, Ryan. They outscored their opponents in the regional. What, it was like 45-7 or something like that?
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Wake is looking dominant. They're not getting a lot of talk for how good they've been this year. They've been in the top 5 really all year. Keep going down the list. We got either Stanford or Texas A&M. That game I think was already played. I don't know, or I think it might be ongoing. Don't know the winner. But they're playing the Texas Longhorns. We have the number 5 seed LSU Tigers with the number 12 seed Kentucky Wildcats. So an SEC matchup there for you. We got the Tennessee Volunteers and the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Neither of them are national seeds. They actually both knocked out their respective regional hosts. We have Florida versus South Carolina, Virginia versus Duke, Oregon versus Oral Roberts, and Oral Roberts really just continuing it on in NCAA tournaments here.
Beat OSU.
All sports. Just they did.
Oh,
different.
That
was Dallas Baptist.
Yes,
my bad.
yes.
That's on me, coach.
And then we have TCU versus the number 14 seed Indiana State. So Super Regional start up this week. Those are a best of 3 series at the site of the higher seed. For the couple of games where there's no seeds, the NCAA will determine the host of those. It's going to be Tennessee and Oregon because they're going to have better facilities for the NCAA to make money. That is ongoing and should be interesting to see. The College World Series will be happening here shortly.
Robbie, could you read me the score of the Oklahoma State game one more time?
18 to 4.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
What is worse, 18-4 in baseball or 48-0 in football?
48-0. The team the way that team was headed, yeah.
Yeah, at least you score in your baseball team.
It's so gross that the final was Dallas Baptist versus Oral Rogers in the Stillwater Regional.
Roberts.
Regardless,
you still got Aaron Rodgers on the mind up here. He's living rent free.
He's got a hotel in there.
And Wake really just dunked their nuts in George Mason's mouth. That's wild. Anyways,
pause. Obviously coinciding with that, also the women's tournament is going on right now in terms of softball, and Oklahoma has advanced to their 3rd straight women's College World Series, continuing this run of dominance. It's pretty impressive.
You guys want to hear some fun Oklahoma softball stats from this season?
Yes.
So they entered the women's College World Series at 56-1. Their only loss was to Baylor by a score of 4-3. So they've lost 1 game by 1 run all year. They've won 48 consecutive games, which is the longest streak in Division I softball history. Their team ERA is 1. Just
That's
1.
obscene.
1.0.
That's obscene.
They had 32 shutouts in 57 games. And they're batting .372.
Hey, Rob, who are the defending Big 12 champs, though? Cowgirls.
Were they actually?
Yeah, we beat them last year in the Big 12 championship.
The team that
But yeah, this Oklahoma team is
unbelievable,
dominant to say the least.
Yes, quite. Yeah, it's very impressive. They do not know who they're playing yet, correct? The other teams have to come out of the other side.
They're playing
right?
Florida State.
Was that oh, okay. I did not see that. That's weird. My apologies. So it'll be Oklahoma versus Florida State in the Women's College World Series.
Starting Wednesday at 7 p.m. on.
There you go. So moving on to another miscellaneous headline. This one was one that it's actually just interesting to me. This one relates to horse racing, gentlemen. So the headline on this is Churchill Downs moves meet to Ellis Park to examine protocols following 12 horse deaths. So, and a little bit more of a fleshed out article. Churchill Downs will suspend racing operations on Wednesday and move the remainder of its spring meet to Ellis Park in order to conduct a top-to-bottom review of safety and service protocols in the wake of 12 horse fatalities the past month at the home of the Kentucky Derby. No single factor has been identified as a potential cause for the fatalities or pattern detected, according to a release, but the decision was made to relocate the meet in an abundance of caution. So apparently there have also been multiple people who individually went through the track, like people who like this is their job to inspect the safety and stuff of the track, that found nothing. So it's like, what's happening? Like if 12 horses died, something's going wrong.
Did they say that they were like having to be put down due to injuries?
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
They don't. Yeah,
they put down due to injuries. That's crazy. That's a wild headline to me. It's very interesting. So I guess
it's gonna be an interesting story as it develops to see like what is that?
It's not like one or two. 12 is a big fucking number.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Kentucky Derby, like all of a sudden it was like the field was cut in half almost because there were so many horses dying.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then my last miscellaneous headline before our fun activity today. Lionel Messi wants to return to Barcelona after leaving PSG. I don't know much about soccer. I know PSG is going to crap. Because I know Mbappe wanted to leave. Messi's leaving. There's like two other guys that wanted to leave. And that club is just going to crap. But I'm assuming this is more so like Messi basically wants to return to the place where he wants to retire. Is what I'm assuming is basically what he's doing.
Yeah.
So
that's what if you talk to soccer fans, I always talk about that. PSG spends all this money, but they don't really have like a history in soccer. Like it's been a recent thing, and like the only reason that they're this club they can get these players is because they're in Paris, but they're not really in Paris. They're a little bit outside.
Who is in Paris, Robbie?
You're just never not gonna make that joke. You're just never not gonna make. It's the fellas. We went to Paris.
We were in Paris. We were there
in Paris. So yeah,
Ryan and Robbie in Paris.
Stupid.
But yeah, so those are all the sports headlines we have today. So today, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, at the end of our podcast, we usually do a draft, we do a tier list, we do some kind of fun thing. We're doing something we've never done before, which is kind of shocking given that we're like a sports podcast. We've never done this. We're doing a bracket. And if you don't know a little bit, this is a little bit of lore of history behind this podcast. So kind of the decision to make this podcast. Well, it is.
Someone put this on our wiki page.
The decision to make the podcast was actually in reference to, I remember Ryan, Robbie, and I were playing Rocket League one day, as we did. And basically we started, I acknowledge it now, but I had the terrible take of saying that Derek Carr was the second most attractive quarterback in the NFL at the time, which I acknowledge is a bad take. And I know that.
All-time shit take.
Yeah. And so basically we were arguing about this. We finish our game, and then we go to a tier list on Tier Maker and rank all the NFL quarterbacks by attractiveness. So in homage to this, we are going to do a bracket, but instead it's NBA players and who is the most attractive NBA player. And so we are going to do that bracket. I have 32 people. I have seeded all these people. So essentially this is kind of up to Ryan and Robbie because I've basically already ranked them in terms of what I think. But I'm going to give you the matchups, and we're going to go through this bracket.
And if the rankings have anything to do with how you rank NFL quarterbacks, we're in for a fucking upset fest.
Yeah.
I
swear to God, if you pull up this list and the number one overall seed is like
Pat Bev.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Where's Pat Bev?
So number one, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So our first matchup of the day, here we go. It's Kelly Oubre Jr. versus.
I'm a very visual learner. Do we have pictures?
Yeah, do we have pictures?
You might have to look it up because I do not.
You remember all these guys?
You don't know how Kelly Oubre looks like?
Kelly Oubre just doesn't live rent-free in my fucking head thinking about how good he looks. What are you on? What kind of bracket is this?
You couldn't even put together
wait. Hold on.
That is a good-looking dude.
Did we get a good visual of Kelly Oubre Jr.? Did we get a good one?
I can't believe you're going to make me Google 32 NBA
sorry.
players so I can look at their pictures and look at how good they look.
Yeah, my FBI agent tracking my search history. Like, what the fuck are you on?
And then, so it's Kelly Oubre Jr. versus Kyle Kuzma in round one.
Kuz is kind of a goober.
Yeah, I got Kelly Oubre there.
Ryan, what are we thinking there?
Yeah. I'm not thrilled with how this draft's going, but here we are.
I'm not either.
All right, so we got Kelly Oubre advancing in that round.
Yes.
Lovely. All right, here you go.
Mm.
Here's the next matchup. Tyler Hero.
What seed?
This was 17 and 16 for me. So this is supposed to be a close matchup.
You really went through and rated fucking 32.
Yeah. 32 dudes. Yeah,
that's great. Fucking wild.
Tyler Hero and Jaylen Brown.
Fucking awful.
NFL quarterbacks was
There's only 32 of those in the whole fucking.
Well, I just made 30. I made
every
32
NBA player. Yeah, we just have to know every NBA player.
I think these dudes are both pretty middle of the road.
Okay.
I got
say that
Brown.
as a personal 3. I was going to say Hero, so here we are.
Oh, there you go.
Wild.
I think Hero's haircut looks dumb.
I think I'm going to side with Robbie there. I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown. I just think
shit on.
I just think he's more clean cut than Tyler Hero is. No, I like the look, man. I like the braids in the beard. I think it's all just supposed to put together well. You know what I'm saying?
You should get braids in the beard.
Next week, Ryan is gonna love this matchup. You ready for this?
Oh no,
Devin Booker.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anybody.
I know what he looks like.
I don't know, Ryan. I don't know. And Paul George.
Oh fuck me! No way you did this to me. You got me looking up pictures of Paul George. Despicable.
I thought that might entertain.
Paul George. I can't. Booker's got such a punchable fucking face. I just can't.
I'll let Ryan decide that one. We'll go with Paul George and
I can't do Booker, man. He's such a douche. He's such a douchebag.
We should have done NBA bracket of most punchable faces. That would have been way better.
We have Bradley Beal and Chetty Osman.
CD Osman, I feel like. I did not know what that man looked like until I Googled him 3 seconds.
Let's see what Ryan said.
He looks like he'd like sell you drugs though. Like it looks like he'd like pull up to your car in a hoodie and like sell you drugs.
That is such a those are two just different dudes of attractiveness. Like the Venn diagrams for chicks or guys that would find them attractive do not overlap. They're so different. I'd probably go with Osman.
I like it. We're gonna move on to the next matchup. We have Kevin Love.
Yes.
Versus
what seed did my boy get?
He got the 5th seed. I got Kevin Love at the 5th seed.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
Versus Steph Curry.
Kevin Love. I don't need to Google those.
Curry's just a goofy looking dude, man.
Yeah, he is.
So you get your keyboards ready for this one.
Sorry, Chef.
Ricky Rubio versus Benedict Mathurin.
Who?
He's on the Pacers.
He went to Arizona. I know. That's all I got.
Yeah, there you go. You know him a little bit.
I googled him and a picture didn't even come up, Connor.
What? Okay, that's your fault, man.
Yeah, Rubio for sure.
All right, we got Rubio advancing there.
Also, he's Canadian, so I don't like him.
Corey Kispert.
You definitely just fucking found a list of somebody else that ranked the most.
Oh, I cross-referenced a lot. Yeah.
Cross-reference.
I love that.
And then Jonas Valanciunas.
I say Kispert.
I would agree.
All right, RJ Barrett versus
Knicks legend
Jalen Green.
Barrett.
No way. Huh?
Yeah, I actually would go Jalen Green.
Barrett?
Are we looking at the same Green?
Jalen Green, the Houston Rockets player.
Kind of looks like a goober, man.
We have Josh Giddey and Serge Ibaka.
Okay, Giddey. Like, we're not doing this. You're not getting me to look up and compare Serge with Josh Giddey.
Zach LaVine and Killian Hayes.
I'm having trouble keeping track of names. Zach LaVine there.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, we got LaVine moving on. That Chris Paul.
No.
Brandon Clark.
Unless Brendan Clark looks like a troll, we're going with Brendan Clark.
I was about to say, is this white guy that works at a law firm, or is it a...
Yeah, how do you spell that?
That's an unfair seating.
Why?
Brendan Clark definitely sells drugs.
What does that have to do with anything?
He definitely sells drugs.
What do you think? You're going Clark?
No chance.
Against Chris Paul?
Chris Paul's not ugly. Why do we think Chris Paul's ugly?
I just don't like him.
I'm going CP on this one.
Yeah, I would too.
Ain't no way y'all letting this man's ears through the first round. There's no way. My guy looks like fucking Horton Ears of Who out here hearing fucking bat signals from a mile away. There's no shot.
That's why he chokes so bad in the finals. The sound gets so loud in the stadiums he can't fucking hear.
Danilo Gallinari.
I cannot.
Wait,
believe you just
versus
said
Gordon
that.
Gordon Hayward.
Those are two of the most generic looking white guys you could fucking find. That is some
Gordon Hayward.
seeding.
Gordon Hayward.
We have two teammates right here, Jaden Ivey versus Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham looks like he'd like sit in the back of the class and like not say something like all semester, and then the one time he gets called on for something, he has just some really obscene take that like should not be said out loud. Like he just like points out something that should not be said in that class, but he's just gonna go all in on it.
Neither. Can we get a?
That's unfortunately not an
Connor,
option.
who's the higher seed? Who's the higher seed?
Jaden Ivey's the higher seed.
All right, Jaden Ivey it is then.
What's the seeding?
7 and 26.
There ain't no way. There is no way one of these dudes is 7, one of these dudes is 26. You're smoking crack. These should be both 34 and 35.
Moving on to the next matchup, we have Ben Simmons and Blake Griffin.
Ben Simmons is such a goober, bro. He pisses me off looking him up. I don't know which one of these dudes are we picking?
Ben Simmons.
I'll go with Simmons.
Wow, that's an upset. That's a pretty big upset, actually. We have Kyrie Irving and Drew Holiday.
We're going Kyrie. Go Mavs.
I was gonna go Drew Holiday just because he does a lot of charity work. He seems like a good dude.
That's not what we're ranking on today. I had Kyrie.
Are we looking at the same dude?
Drew Holiday.
The Milwaukee Bucks point guard?
Yeah.
That's the one.
I mean, you're not really, comparing him against the star of the show.
Yeah, it's a close seating.
Yeah, I would say so.
And then last we have Rudy Gobert versus Lauri Markkanen.
What the fuck does Markkanen
Rudy
look
Gobert?
like?
No, I know his name's Gobert.
God, that is a goofy looking Swedish dude.
What do you mean, what? Okay, look at him with the long hair.
He's
not with his buzz.
He's Finnish, by the way.
One and the same. I just can't vote for the Frenchman. I'm trying to be objective.
We'll go Rudy. Markkanen's neck is too long. It freaks me out.
He does kind of have a giraffe build to him. So many men.
Well, hopefully these are refreshing in your mind, so because we have to,
This is ass, Connor. I'm upset with this bracket.
What list did you reference?
Well, okay, I thought of like guys that I thought were like conventionally attractive, and then I just like went to lists, and it was like, dude, people had Giannis at like 2 consistently. I was like, huh?
Who are we going with in this last one?
It's up to you.
Cannot decide.
It's because I'm this is Markkanen like clearly to me.
Don't say clearly.
It's clearly Markkanen. It's so obviously.
I'm going Gobert because you're so emphatic on Markkanen. I don't like that.
Markkanen looks like if you like push the top of his head, he'd fall over because his neck's
that
so
was a
long.
231 matchup. That was a 2. Yes. Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm outraged.
Okay. Relax.
Kelly Oubre versus Jalen.
I'm missing something. Is this guy like?
Yeah. Oh, I don't get it.
What are y'all talking about? How do you not see it?
You like talk to his friends like, hey, can you go tell that girl over there that I think she's cute because he's standing in the corner.
Robbie, you do that too.
Really yeah, I know. That's how I know this is what this guy looks like.
I mean, like, is he more attractive than me? Yeah, obviously. Yes. But I think Gobert is somehow more attractive.
All right. Kelly Oubre versus Jaylen Brown.
Oubre.
Paul George versus Cedi Osman.
Osman.
Yeah, Osman.
Kevin Love versus Ricky Rubio.
That's a good matchup. I'll go with Caleb.
Corey Kispert, Jalen Green.
I think Kispert. I didn't think Jalen should have made it out of the first round.
Josh Giddey versus Zach LaVine.
There you go.
Wow. Really? CP3 versus Gordon Hayward.
There's no way we're letting fucking Horton get to the quarterfinals. There's just no way.
Dumbo's
zero chance.
Cinderella run ends in round 2.
Jaden Ivey versus Ben Simmons.
Ivey was in like a terrible matchup in the first round. I don't know how he got ranked so high on your list.
This is not a 7. This is not the 7th most attractive dude in the NBA.
There's no way.
Just a shot.
Just because of that we're
smoking
as much as we hate him, we're moving Ben Simmons through.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Kyrie Irving, Rudy Gobert. No way! Rudy Gobert is not attractive.
He is not unattractive. What are you talking about?
God.
He's kind of busted looking. I don't know why we're Rudy Gobert.
Oh my god. Kelly Oubre versus Cedi Osman.
Give me the fucking
what are the
standing or the seeds left.
So Kelly Oubre is a 1 seed, and Chetty Osman has an 8 seed.
Oh, so that's chalk. Okay. I think this is unfortunately probably going to end up in Oubre championship. I think it's going to be chalk all the way through.
Kevin Love versus Corey Kispert.
Seeds.
Kevin Love is a 5 seed. Corey Kispert was a 13 seed.
It's a little bit disrespectful to Kispert, honestly.
That's what I was thinking. No way Ivy is a fucking 7 with that. That's disgusting.
I got K-Love.
Kispert being a 13 is disrespectful. He's top 10.
All right, we'll move Kevin Love on. Zach LaVine versus Gordon Hayward. Zach LaVine was a 19 seed, and Gordon Hayward was a 6 seed.
God, he was ugly on the Jazz.
But dude, when he grew a beard, though?
Yeah. I feel like Gordon Hayward is like a poor man's Kevin Love.
He is 1 seed lower.
I think I go Levine here.
I agree.
All right, move LaVine on. God almighty. Then we get to this matchup. Ben Simmons versus Rudy Gobert. What the hell did that happen?
Cinderella run continues.
No way. Rudy Gobert in the final 4. Actually, I might take him over Ben Simmons.
No, I'm taking Ben Simmons.
Hey, whatever. I'm not married to it.
Fuck. Probably one of the best matchups of the day. Kelly Oubre versus Kevin Love.
I guess we go Oubre.
Yeah, I agree.
Zach LaVine over Ben Simmons.
Levine,
yeah.
Kelly Oubre versus Zach LaVine for the finals.
Oubre.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. Kelly Oubre.
Kelly Oubre is the
Reigns
most attractive man in
supreme.
the NBA.
Is the attractive man in the NBA. Let us know in terms of what you guys want, in terms of more tier lists, drafts, brackets, any of that stuff. We'll take all the recommendations in the comments. Who wants to sign us out?
I can do it. For myself and Ryan and Connor, thank you for tuning in. Pretty long episode for you this week, but we will again be back next week, hopefully. Podcasts are now releasing on Wednesdays consistently. That's going to be the plan. So look out for that. And please gamble responsibly.